Hi YouTube, Jeremy here with Simple Little Life, and today I'm going to show you how I sharpen hockey skates with the Wissota hockey skate sharpener. Now, if you don't play hockey or if you're not considering getting a hockey skate sharpener, don't watch this video, it's going to be a waste of your time. If you're maybe considering a hockey skate sharpener, I'm going to show you the unit that we picked out. This is the Wissota, 100% American made. Even the motor is made in the United States of America. It's made in Minnesota. I think that's a play on the name Wissota. Clever guys. But I'm really happy with this product. I've probably had it for about 4 months now, and I've got, I would say 20 sharpenings on it. And I'm finally at the point now where in about 5 to 10 minutes per pair of skates, I can get really great edges put on. I've got 5 people in my family that skate on a weekly basis. Some of my kids skate 4 times a week. If I want to keep their skates sharp and performing well, I'd always be going to a pro shop to get my skate sharpened, but this way I can actually just do it myself, and like I said, in 5 to 10 minutes, boom, boom, boom. I paid $1,700 for the skate sharpener, and I figured that in 2 years I will pay for that with all the skates that we have to sharpen all the time. Anyways, we'll head over to my toolbox and take a look at what's involved with sharpening your skates. Okay, so I'm going to quickly talk about the difference between a goalie skate and a player skate. They use them for 2 completely different things. Goalie skates are typically very flat along the bottom. You'll see on this skate, this edge is very flat. There's not a lot of radius to it. A player skate is the opposite. Basically, in a player skate, they have the toe profiled as well as the heel and some type of a profiling done in the middle. The reason for that is the goalies, when they're using their skates, they're mostly using it to push off. And they want as much of that blade contact with the ice as possible. Whereas with a player, someone who's playing out, they need their skates to carve and turn and be maneuverable on the ice rather than just being able to contact as much of the ice as possible. Goalie skates do not turn and carve very well compared to player skates. One problem that we had was my son had a different pair of skates, and we took him to a skate sharpening shop, and the gentleman running it did not really know what he was doing, and he ended up profiling the goalie skates to look like player skates. He basically ground a whole bunch of the toe and a whole bunch of the heel off of the skate, rendering them pretty much useless for being a goalie. Now we had to buy these skates, which I believe was a $270 touch, and these ones have a removable blade, a replaceable blade, but even that is $125. So if you get one kid per season or one every other season who decides to profile the goalie skates to look like player skates, that gets expensive very quickly, and that's also part of the reason why we decided to invest in our own hockey skate sharpener. The other big difference between goalie skates and player skates is the radius that's actually carved on the bottom. Goalies need to be able to slide from side to side, and they don't need a lot of really tight grip and control. They still want some, because they still need to be able to get that hard push, but they do want to be able to slide and shuffle along their crease as the puck moves around. Whereas a player needs a certain amount of bite so that he can grab into the ice. Now, a few things that affect this is a player's size, their position, and that's pretty much it. If you think about it like this, if you have a 250-pound hockey player and when they carve on that edge, there's a lot of force pushing that down. Rather, if you take a child playing in atom hockey who weighs 60 pounds, 70 pounds, there's a lot less weight pushing in and biting the ice. So, a general rule of thumb is the bigger the player, the less of a radius you can get away with. Smaller players, like little kids, ½ inch is a good place. Some even like to go as small as a 3/8 radius on the bottom of the skate. Whereas with goalies, typically you'll start at a 5/8 of an inch radius. For my boys' skates, I run a ½ inch for my son who plays out and a 5/8 for my son who's a goalie. And you can look up online different radiuses of different players and stuff like that. I'm 215 pounds, and so I use a 5/8 for my out skates as well as my goalie skates. Maybe I'm just too lazy to switch between them, but that's basically the big difference between a goalie skate and a player skate. Let's see if this camera will pick it up. If you can kind of see that radius on the top of the blade there. That basically is what creates 2 edges, one on each side, that help bite into the ice. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw these skates in the skate holder, and I'll show you how to grind them. Right, so a couple of features on this unit. In the base of the unit, you have a on-off switch right here, and then this is the electric motor, and that is clamped onto the base of the unit with a very large clamping mechanism right here. On the motor, obviously attached is your grinding wheel, and then above all of that is this carriage assembly, and the whole reason for this is simply to hold this, which is your diamond cutting rod. Basically, the tip of this rod has a little diamond in it, and that will grind whatever radius you want on the stone. If I kind of come in this way, you can see how that stone is curved. It's not totally flat, it actually is curved this way. And what that does is that carves a concave radius on the bottom of your skate, which creates two edges, one on either side of the blade. So depending on the type of player, the weight, the position they play, a bunch of different things can play into it, but you would put different curves on different skates, and all those different curves are basically done in a radius. They're all marked on this, and you simply line whatever marking you want up with the head of this screw, and that will put the corresponding radius onto your grinding wheel, which then you can grind into the bottom of your skate blade. The other main part is the skate holder itself. Basically, it has this clamp here, and your hockey skate blade fits in here, and you clamp it down, and then you can do various adjustments on here. And basically this thing has a felt bottom, and that's what slides on this machined surface. So you get very, very nice, smooth, accurate lines when you're going this way. Just a few really important tips when you're setting up your skate holder. This is the most important part of getting good edges on your skates, is that you set this up properly. First most important thing I would say is you want to make sure that your skate holder is level and in line with your grinding wheel. I know it may not look like it in the video just because of the angle of the camera, but basically where this skate is held, and you have to do it with a skate in it, but that skate is pretty much dead center of the wheel. Another very important thing is that you get this edge of the skate holder set to the exact same height as this edge. So what I do is simply take a square, check that side, check that side. Get them exactly the same, and when that's set up identical to each other, basically you know that this thing, that skate is perfectly level to this pad and in relationship to your grinding wheel. That way, as you're going back and forth, you're not going to be grinding a skate like this. You're going to be grinding exactly along the axis of the blade. And lastly, the final thing you want to check for is for squareness of your skate holder. Now basically, to make the adjustments that you need to get these all level, you use your adjustment knobs here. Once you start grinding, you may notice that you're grinding off to one side of the blade or another. That is where this adjustment knob comes in, and basically what that does is, if this were your grinding stone and this were your skate blade, if you're coming into it like this, you're going to be just putting marks on this bottom part of the blade. You can adjust that, and that basically straightens your blade out so that you get nice even edges. Basically that each edge sticks up equal amounts on both sides of the blade. So the very first thing I'll do when I start a grind is just take a stone. These are skate stones, they come with your sharpener, and I just run along the blades just to knock off any burrs on the sides of the skate. Now we will chuck up the skate in the skate holder. And we are ready to grind. First thing I'll do is dress my grinding wheel. Only do this while the machine is running. I've got a nice even radius on there. Now I'm going to do a real light contact test cut. Very, very lightly. Now I'm not sure if the camera can focus on that or not, but you see right there I have a very light cut. And what that basically tells me is that this skate holder from the last set of skates I did is not holding the skate perfectly true. I'll do it at the front. just to confirm. And both of these are on the top of this blade. So what I need to do is tighten this screw here, which will pull the blade like this. That's a little better, almost there. Okay, now that we've got our skate so it's cutting properly, and we've adjusted it with this knob, we can go ahead and start grinding. Two more considerations. One being that you want to do the same number of passes over the grinding stone on each skate as close as you can. If you count out 10 passes on the first time, do 10 on the second skate, even if it doesn't need it. You want to keep those edges the exact same height, and you want to wear them down evenly if at all possible. The second thing is that when you're grinding, make sure you're going with the rotation of the grinding wheel. So the grinding wheel is rotating this way right now. I'm not going to grind against it, I'm going to grind with it. And that'll just help make it a nice smoother finish. And then as you get to your very final pass, do a very nice light, very slow pass, and that'll just leave a real smooth finish on the blade. So basically, once you've ground your edges, you'll use this tool that they give you, and this is called the edge checker. And basically it's just an aluminum bar that's very flat and straight with a magnet on it, and basically that holds it onto the blade. And now you are pressing hard against both edges, and you want to make sure that both of those are perfectly level with this plate right here. And as you can see on this one, that's pretty close. So that tells us both the inside edge and the outside edge of the skate are even with each other. We've got two nice sharp edges. One's not higher. We didn't grind it like this. We didn't grind it like this, but we've got a nice grind like this, creating two high edges on either side of your skate blade. Once you've got that ground up properly, just check it real quick. That's super sharp. And real quickly, I clean this up once more with the stone. A lot of people carry these stones in their hockey bags, and if you do, when you're using it, make sure when you go to sharpen your blades, you're not having it at an angle like this. You want to set it like this so it's away from the sharp point, then slowly lay it flat, and make sure you keep it flat to this part of the blade. All you want to do is remove any burrs that are hanging over this side. You don't want to flatten this down at all. Do both sides very gently. And just like that, you've got a very nicely sharpened hockey skate.